Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. I feel nice and calm. I feel like my cognitive function is up. I'm able to connect some good ideas right now. Right, I'm not stressed. Stress uh, inhibits your ability to connect ideas. So I'm feeling like I can do that right now. I can spit some wisdom, you know. So, what I want to talk about today is there's a psychology term that I learned reading. It was Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, which is just about how if you can't control your ego, um, you're not going to be very successful. You're not going to get as far as you want to. You're not going to really achieve all your goals because ego, um, well, it's the enemy, right? But ego, if you have a big ego, your decision making skills aren't going to be as clear because your ego wants different things than you want, right? Your your ego's goals are not the same as your goals. So your ego just wants to feed itself and soothe itself, right? And make you feel good rather than actually make you good, right? Make you good at what you want to be good at, make you achieve what you want to achieve, right? So there's just your ego and you have different goals. So that book's just about minimizing your ego, how you can do that, which I feel is very important to learn. So I think you guys, I do suggest reading that book, and I do suggest studying more about ego in general. If you don't read, watch some YouTube videos about it at least. It's valuable information. But the psychology term that I want to talk about specifically from that book is called the imaginary audience, and it is a problem that I've struggled with in my life, and it's essentially where you feel as if people are paying much more attention to your every move than they really are. It's essentially just anxiety, right? But more like someone's watching you, or you feel like someone's watching you. You feel like people care when you make a mistake. You feel like uh, you just feel like there's eyes on you at all times, even if nobody really cares. Everyone has their own problems to worry about. So it's like you're worrying about yourself, but that guy's worrying about himself, so he's not worrying about me. So why do I think he's worrying about me, right? It makes no sense. Uh, it seems that everyone has a problem with, or at least a small problem with having an imaginary audience, right? Everyone thinks they're being paid attention to a little bit more than they actually are, is what it seems like, at least. I'm sure some people have it under control, like monks and stuff, but I feel like most people have at least a little bit of a problem, at least every once in a while, right? Maybe most of the time you don't have a problem with it, but there's a day you're particularly stressed, and then you'll feel like people are paying attention when they're not. And it really can inhibit your growth and your progress and your decision-making skills a ton. So say I'm at wrestling practice, right? And I want to learn a new move, a move that I haven't done yet. Other people have done it maybe, so they're good at it already. And I feel, I guess, embarrassed that I'm not good at it yet, even though it's my first time doing it, right? So what I want to do is, or what I want to do, my reasoning, my intellect, with knowledge, logic, I came to the conclusion that it would be best if I walked before I ran, which means essentially do the move slow before you do it at full speed, so you can get the rhythm. I guess not the rhythm, the motion down, the how you're, just how it flows, right? How it feels. Excuse me. But if you feel like everyone's watching you, or at least for me, I'll feel like everyone's watching me. Actually, I've talked to some of my partners about this, my teammates, and they say the same thing. You feel like people are watching, and you feel embarrassed to do the move slow because you look like you don't know what you're doing. But it's, if you feel that way and then you let that control your decisions, I mean, it's no big deal, really. It's uncomfortable if you feel that way, but then you still make yourself do the right thing. But really, you're still going to get that progress that you want. But if you feel that way and you let it control your decisions and you say, oh, I'm just going to do the move at full speed so I don't look dumb, right? But you're not going to learn as well that way. You're not going to get as much out of it. You're going to stay bad at the move, or at least build bad habits because you try to do it faster than you were capable of doing, right? And of course, your first time doing a move, if you do it full speed, you're not going to get it 100% right. If you keep doing it that same way, you're going to build bad habits. Whatever it is, I'm talking about wrestling, but like, I don't know, say you're a skateboarder trying to do a kickflip, you do it wrong because you're going fast, whatever. I mean, it's hard to practice a kickflip slow because there's gravity, but you get what I mean. Anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling, it doesn't matter if it's the example I'm giving. You have to, I mean, like I said, this is an ego problem. This is thinking that you're more important than you are. People aren't actually watching you. People actually don't care if you're doing the move slow. They don't care because they're also, I mean, at practice specifically, everyone else is busy. Everyone else is drilling the move. Everyone else is worried about their own technique while I'm worried about mine. But I'm also more worried about what people think of my technique more than I'm worried about my actual technique, which is what happens when you have that imaginary audience. Is that there's like, so you have the worry for how you look to others, and then you have your worry for your actual improvement. And if your worry for your actual improvement is a little bit more than your worry for how you look, then you're going to be able to like make the smart decision, the tough decision to walk before you run, or whatever it is that you need to make the most progress, rather than if your worry for how you look is a little bit higher, then you're not going to be able to make that decision, even if you really want to, right? You know you should. So and like I said, I was trying to get to at least before I cut myself off, this is an ego problem. This is you thinking that you're more important than you are. People really don't care as much as you might think they do. And that sounds harsh, but really it's liberating to understand that people don't care. People have their own problems, people have their own worries, people have their own things to focus on, and it's almost never going to be you as their main focus. At least even your wife will have worries that are much bigger than you and will care about other things much more than she cares about you, right? Not more than she cares about you, but more than she's gonna be focused on other things more than she's focused on you, right? So really, just, you have to kind of, I think the best way to deal with the imaginary audience is to act as if you don't care what others think, even if you do care what others think. And then you eventually realize that I mean, if you're already acting that way, you realize that you see no signs that people care. You'll learn through seeing those signs that nobody actually cares. Nobody reacted the way I thought they were going to react. Say I do the move badly and I expected, or I do the move slowly like I wanted to, which would be me acting as if I don't care when I do care. And nobody says anything. In my head I'm thinking, dude, my partner's gonna make fun of me for, he's gonna say something, a joke about it, right? And then he doesn't say anything, and then nothing happens, and then I realize, oh, they don't care as much as I thought. And then the next time you have that same imaginary audience, it'll be a little bit smaller because you'll realize, or a little bit weaker of a problem, right? Because you'll realize I was wrong. People don't care. I have evidence of that because I acted as if I didn't care, and then it showed evidence that people don't care. So for me, that works really well. I don't really have a ton of practical advice other than that. I feel like the information I provided is more, I guess it's more information on the actual subject and what it is, rather than how to deal with it. But I feel like you can deal with it, or the information still helps to deal with it, even if, like, I think just putting a name to the problem that you're having is really helpful. Because like I didn't know it was called the imaginary audience before before yesterday, before I read about it. But I've always been dealing with that problem, and I've always been conscious about trying to solve that problem. But I think that having a name for it, it makes it a lot simpler to deal with, because I'll be having that problem of the imaginary audience, and before I would have to say like some long list, like oh, you don't need to care about what other people think, blah 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 blah, and I don't know. It's just a longer phrase, and now you just have to say it's imaginary. It's an imaginary audience. And then like that's just 2 words, imaginary audience. You say those words in your head and it reminds you that, oh, it's not real. It's literally just in my head. Just keep focusing. It's just a quicker way to remind yourself. It's a more consistent way. I appreciate having terms like that. So I hope spreading this information is doing good for you guys too. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Have a good day.